why.
We are live, everybody. It is Sportskeeda Wrestling. A lot of big news. This Forbidden Door business. Everyone thinks that WWE doesn't open it. Well, they are opening it in a big, big way. An Impact champion will be in the Royal Rumble. And now we're expecting more people from outside the WWE to be in one of the biggest WWE matches of the year. Plus, we have big, big news about all that hat drama with AEW President Tony Khan and his former wrestler, Big Swole. The internet drama from a week ago is not dying down. Don't worry, we're going to spell all the T, and you're going to yell at a screen. Legendary Bill Apter is with us. It is a special edition on a Monday of Sportskeeda Wrestling's Top Story.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
You do not watch it in. You watch out. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. What's up, everybody?
How would you watch in?
I'm watching it.
Yeah, there's four of us today. There's a lot of people on your screen today, a lot of news to cover. We're going to get into all of it. If you haven't done it already and you're watching live, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you to the more than 24,000 people, getting us near 25,000 on YouTube. I know a lot of you guys watch us on Facebook. Thank you to the podcast subscribers as well, putting us on the Wrestling Apple charts for podcasting and the top 100 in over 5 different countries. So thank you so much as well.
That's an achievement.
Here we go. Shout out from
Unlocked.
Canada. Oh, Canada. If you're watching for the first time, shout out where you guys are watching from. Bill Apter is with us, the legendary Bill Apter. Bill, we have a lot of news to get into today. I want to get your opinion on this. We have a big episode of SmackDown. Roman Reigns is back after COVID. All right. Big angle with Brock Lesnar. All right. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns are the two biggest names in the company. And then WWE, with Charlotte Flair in the ring, announces several names that will return at the Royal Rumble. We don't get the surprise returns to the Royal Rumble. They just throw a bunch of them at you 3 weeks in advance. Michelle McCool, Kelly, Summer Rae, two of the biggest names that have ever revolutionized the business for women's wrestling, Brie and Nikki Bella, but no one's talking about them. The most talked about person on Friday Night Wrestling, more than anyone on Rampage, more than anyone on SmackDown, was Mickie James. Mickie James, who was unceremoniously let go by WWE last year. They reportedly she put it out there. They sent her materials, her ring gear that the WWE will carry for you sometimes on the road. They sent it to her in a garbage bag, and Vince McMahon had to apologize reportedly for that away from the public, right? And that was a logistical thing and not a good look for the company. But then she goes on and has a monster year, launches this big project with the NWA, does great stuff with Impact Wrestling. She's kicking down the Forbidden Door wherever it is. Now she's doing it again. She's going to bring the Impact Wrestling Championship possibly to the...
Oh, no. What happened to Kevin? Kevin
Sniped.
Well, I don't know.
He disappeared on us. His internet just whacked out on us. Huh?
Also.
Sniper got him again.
Well, I know
He's
he
back.
was talking
He's
about...
back.
There he is.
Sniper got him again.
Yeah, I'm having some technical issues.
You just
too,
got
so,
sniped.
I'm only hearing parts of your questions. But to answer your question about Mickie James, of course, it was all over the world, that slap in the face that she received all her stuff back in like a garbage bag or whatever from sent from then Director of Talent Relations, Mark Carano. I think, and I was thinking about this for quite a while, when they released all these people, somebody wasn't thinking about, we're going to need X amount of people for the Royal Rumble. What are we going to do? And I think somebody just said, Mickie James, why don't we just bring her in? And I don't know if they will mention that she's the current champion.
They did on SmackDown.
At all.
They did.
Pat McAfee said it
McAfee
loud
did,
and clear.
And also McAfee even alluded to McAfee immediately when they said that she's going to take care of that garbage from a few months ago. Like they even alluded to all these different things.
Yeah. WWE.
Pat McAfee always does a good job of that, though. Pat McAfee, because he's really in tune with what's going on with the internet wrestling community, and he brings that to his commentary, which I think is tremendous because you can't insult our intelligence, and Pat McAfee does a good job of acknowledging us.
And I think Vince gives Pat a little more free reign than he has given.
I had a slight issue. I had a slight issue with Pat. Don't want to get back to the Mickie James thing, but I mentioned one night that I had the TV up really loud, and I tweeted. I said I had to turn my TV down. Pat McAfee was jumping up and down so he sends back a text, public tweet. With all due respect, Bill, F off. And he said he used the word.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I was really surprised.
Wow.
But anyway,
how to get trolled by Pat McAfee, huh?
Getting back to Mickie James, this past week, I did not see SmackDown because I was out of town on a family situation for Friday, Saturday, and most of Sunday. So I heard that she was invited, but I did not hear that they mentioned the title, which is extremely surprising. But then again, a lot of the things that WWE are doing now with acknowledging people, acknowledging other companies have cleared up. If you look at a lot of their programs, when they show still shots, some of the pictures are credited to Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Back when I was there, that was forbidden. You didn't mention the outside wrestling magazines, only them. We were not allowed to shoot pictures. We were banned from the arenas for years. But now it's, hey, Bill, when are you coming in? So it's things are changing at this point, where there are names that you never thought. That's why I say never. And I'm glad to see Mickie James in there.
Yeah, me too.
Jeremy, Jose, you and I covered this quite a bit. Nick Khan has taken over WWE and done a lot of different things that people like. A lot of people attribute these different cuts and reductions and streamlining with talent, and not just talent, people behind the camera as well. But then there's also been this thing, and Jeremy, you and I have discussed this a couple times, with this Forbidden Door stuff with All Elite Wrestling. They collaborate with Impact and New Japan and all these different things. WWE was never going to do that. That's what you and I were talking about. They were saying they were never going to do, like, everyone's, even though they were saying, Nick Khan went on the record saying, I don't like the idea that WWE has this position of we don't play well with others. But Jeremy, you and I kind of saw something like this coming together in other ways, but this is boldly saying we're going to do it in the biggest way we can and one of the biggest shows of the year.
Yeah, and one of the things was there was a key indicator that the Royal Rumble was not quite selling as fast as they wanted either, and that was one of the main reasons why they went ahead and just announced these names. Doesn't mean that all of the surprises are out of the bag. There is still room for surprises. Asuka, Bayley, or Ronda Rousey, they could still be surprises in the Royal Rumble.
And that's just the women's match.
Yeah, and so in regards to Mickie James, even WWE social media it says the words Impact Knockouts Champion on their tweets. So it's pretty interesting to see. WrestleVotes, of course, the big thing that happened here today. Wow. Maybe not just the women, but maybe the men's Royal Rumble match may have a forbidden door. More than one source has confirmed with WrestleVotes, who is a pretty reputable source on Twitter, that they will try for an unexpected forbidden door in the men's Royal Rumble. Interesting to say unexpected, because obviously you got Impact Wrestling. So then you're thinking Moose maybe, or, maybe
that's
Matt
who
Cardona.
I was thinking, Moose.
Maybe Matt Cardona.
But
Moose
then as well. But you know what? What else might be interesting? And I don't know if anyone's thought of this. The week before the Royal Rumble, Booker T is getting back in the ring at Reality of Wrestling.
Yeah.
What if Booker T is one of the surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble? I personally would like to see that.
Now they said unexpected, so that's kind of weird because we already got Mickie James and Impact. So to me, unexpected means a different company. So it may not be a Moose or a Matt Cardona. It may be somebody else. Maybe Mickie James's husband, Nick Aldis. Maybe WWE and NWA are going to start working together. Maybe this
NWA would actually say yes to that.
And maybe this New Japan thing finally has taken shape. Imagine Kazuchika Okada in the Royal Rumble.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but remember this. WWE fans, for the most part, I don't think know who Okada is.
Yeah. Here's what I'm thinking, guys. I'm thinking that we could probably get the likes of Jericho to make an appearance. I think he could probably make, and he'll get a really good pop. He already has a lot of history with WWE. If John Moxley is back in the ring and he's competing, he could be another one that can make an appearance in the Royal Rumble. I'm not thinking so much Japan. I'm thinking they're going to keep it US. Definitely Impact. Who can be the surprise in AEW? Who knows, guys? Who knows? But this is a very fun time to be a fan.
If it's AEW, the internet is going to go wild.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair mentioned that she's going to be in the Royal Rumble, right? Did she mention it was the women's Royal Rumble?
Yes. She
just want to make sure, because that would
be crazy if she wanted to jump in with the men. That would be nuts.
Well, that would be
the first time. Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, would not be the first time. They did it with Nia Jax a few years ago. They did it with
Beth
China
Phoenix
as well. Yeah,
yep.
Beth Phoenix did it as well. So it'd be interesting. There are about, it's worth noting, you guys mentioned tickets. Tickets are moving for Royal Rumble. WrestleTix reporting, a pretty reliable source here. They specifically report on just the tickets to wrestling shows. Close to 89% of the tickets have been distributed. Available tickets are less than 3,400. So you're looking at just a few weeks away from the show. Resale market's pretty good. And they've expanded some tickets for the floor as well. So that's pretty good. You're talking, a lot of people here. Tickets distributed. They're sold around close to in excess of 26,000 tickets for this show. So that's a lot of people that have bought tickets in the last 2 to 3 weeks, and they had a bump in the past week with this big announcement as well. And then you have people kind of guessing what's going to happen. What do you think of the strategy here, Bill, to give away all of these 7 big surprise names returning in the Women's Rumble weeks in advance instead of saving them for the day of the Rumble?
Well, I think they needed to do that because I think some of the fans who may be on the borderline of getting this want to see Kelly, want to see Mickie James for sure. So I think it was a smart move. Ordinarily, they wouldn't do this, but this year's Royal Rumble at the moment, other than the main event, really doesn't have a big buzz about it. So they had to create something. And this thing with the Forbidden Door is making people like us and the fans really now I've got to watch it.
Plus the sentiment and the overall feeling with WWE with a lot of fans is down now with yet another round of releases. So now they're going to try to generate some news, try to generate some of that interest back.
Yeah. And is it going to be an AEW star?
Listen,
AEW star?
That'd be crazy.
See that happening.
That'd be great, but
I'm sorry, I'm losing. You guys are freezing in terms of voice.
Bill, you just want to reboot?
Like
you just want to reboot your connection with this and see if it works better?
It's okay. I mean, I'm hearing you, but it's coming a little late. But I don't think. What?
It's okay. Bill, if you want to reboot your connection, you can go ahead and do that. That's okay, and we'll just keep rolling with it here.
Okay, I'm going to do
that.
Don't go away.
We do have the Fightful. We do have the Fightful Select. Also, Fightful Select coming in with some news regarding the big Royal Rumble announcement and everything. WWE started reaching out to talent as recent as about 9 days ago from when it was announced on SmackDown. Most were contacted were under the impression that it was going to be a surprise up until the Royal Rumble. They did not realize it was going to be an announcement on Friday. So a lot of people that were going to be those surprises from the outside didn't realize it was going to be done. That, of course, as we just mentioned, this was done to boost ticket sales and increase buzz for the show. And there's still plenty of room for more surprises, and likely will be a lot more surprises. WWE sources that Fightful had spoke to said they hadn't been aware the announcement would be happening. Then late scripts included the names, and of course with Mickie James, and the scripts even included to say Impact Knockouts champion. And of course, the word backstage at Hard to Kill was mentioning that title was a boost in morale for Impact. They were excited at the fact that WWE would acknowledge them, and so it kind of even gave Impact a morale boost going into what was a very good pay-per-view on Saturday.
What about? Mm-hmm. What about? I was lost there. I've still got the same lousy connection for no reason. My router is right behind me here too. It's Comcast, gang. But anyway, what about the Forbidden Door being, they're going to bring back someone they fired? What if Road Dogg Jesse James comes back?
Wow. That'd be crazy. I mean, after just getting if William Regal popped up in the Rumble, that would be nuts.
Scott Armstrong.
No, I don't think they put Regal
Joe.
Putting in
he makes an appearance.
Jesse
Everybody.
James.
As a matter of fact,
Wait
all
a
the
minute.
surprises
Billy Gunn,
all the
Billy Gunn
people.
was at the Hall of Fame. Billy Gunn was at the Hall of Fame. There's your AEW guy.
I do think if it's an All Elite Wrestling name, if it's an All Elite Wrestling name, it's somebody who's been there before that they're comfortable with, that they know will go in there and do business right.
Yeah,
that won't go in there and do something that'll disparage the company in some way.
And Jericho's already been on WWE programming since he's been with AEW.
Right.
Yeah, Jericho would not do.
Burying him, it's okay because he's not high profile.
Yeah. And it's the Rumble. There's 29 people that are going to be thrown into the ring. You're going to be in a pack. It's all right. And as long as you get a good luster in there, it does make it really compelling. And I got to say, this is really interesting for the hardcore fan. Yeah. This is that perfect intersection between the hardcore fan and the casual fan, where the casual fan jumps on cyclically, like we've seen in years past, for WrestleMania season right as football ends. And this keeps them intrigued on names of the past or names they've heard about, right? I'm saying WWE made a good move by announcing this 3 weeks in advance with the way the internet works now. It gets people talking.
Yeah,
I think so.
X-Pac,
I think it was a good call.
Would be a good other name, but I don't think he's a forbidden guy.
No.
What if, they've been playing this story up where McMahon last week put Austin Theory in the Royal Rumble. They may do something where they've got a big star somehow screwed by Austin Theory via the McMahon family somehow.
Well, how about Triple H throwing Theory out of the Rumble?
Well,
Triple H comes out and throws Theory out.
I'd be on board.
I mean, Triple H, as long as he's in good shape, it's not going to really tax him too much to throw somebody out of the ring and then go over the top rope himself. So
Jose,
he'll get a massive pop.
We got a lot of people joining us today. Jose, you see a lot of people in the comments here. Do you want to get some of the shout out some of the people with some of their ideas that they're texting in here before we move on to I know this is a huge topic for fans to jump into.
Yeah, it's a huge topic, man. I've already been seeing a lot of names coming out and creeping through the comments. I got to scroll all the way back, but it's a 50-50 reaction. There's some people that like it. There's some people that don't like it. But we've seen some crazy names here. We've seen Dean Ambrose come up. CM Punk come up. Who else?
Maybe Andrade. I mean, he's not talked positive about the
Kevin Nash, Matt Cardona, Ric Flair. So yeah, there's a lot of names out there in the comment section, but it's definitely divided. There's some people that are on board. There's some people that aren't.
It is certainly a compelling story. We will have a lot going on with the Royal Rumble. I will be there. I will be at the Royal Rumble. So if you're heading out, I'm trying to book a comedy show around it, and it's very hard to get a venue booked 3 weeks before a major show. And I didn't know I was going until this week.
If Miro makes an appearance in the Royal Rumble, I will be very happy.
We have a lot of special content coming up.
It's not going to be AEW because at this point, AEW, as I mentioned in a podcast I did this past week with some gentlemen from the United Kingdom, AEW is becoming that viable competitor, but they still got a way to go because they don't have as many long reach as WWE does. They're getting there, definitely, but I think they don't want any of their talent going in there, but someone on the level of a Billy Gunn and nothing to take nothing away from him. He's excellent with what he does. But it wouldn't hurt if they brought him in.
I think it'd be pretty cool if there was an invasion in the Rumble, much like ROH invaded Impact on Saturday. What if there was an invasion?
Everybody loves an invasion, dude. Everyone loves them, Bill. Every other month, we're people like, let's pitch an invasion.
What if there was an invasion by the narrative? EC3, Braun Strowman.
It'd be fun.
Wesley Blake.
All the guys who got let go come back and Rumble.
People. Make it an angle.
They just screw up the whole Rumble match.
WWE fan, will that kid that watches the WWE product have any idea who these people are?
They will with Strowman, at least.
They know who Strowman is.
if a Bray Wyatt showed up at the Royal Rumble,
what's the Strowman's not a forbidden door.
Yeah, well, who knows? Who knows? It does get, if they got people guessing who's coming out 3 weeks before the Royal Rumble, and now that they're going to bring in big names, and they're going to bring in people from the outside, the hardcore fans talking about it to the casual fan, and the pot is stirring. All right, so that's not a bad thing to be in, right?
Let's talk about it.
Let's get into the topic number 2.
Well, so maybe
and you have the celebrity. You have the celebrity too. You have the celebrity that everyone knows.
And so that word, another reality show person coming in.
Putting that word "unexpected" in quotes, though, is really interesting. That doesn't scream Impact. That screams AEW or New Japan with that "unexpected" in quotes. So
no, this has got to be somebody that's a mainstream star. Is there a TV show called The Forbidden Door? Maybe we're all missing.
There's a TV show called Young Rock.
I know that. It doesn't matter what the show is.
It doesn't matter what show it's called. Guys, we got to keep going here. We've been talking about the same topic for 20 minutes, but we got to keep our second story here because we only got 9 more minutes to finish our show. But this was such a massive story, we had to talk about it. But let's get into Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar not only came back at day one and dominated and became the new WWE champion, but now he is setting records in the WWE. And he's not only tying records with Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he's also tying records with Hulk Hogan, holding the WWE Championship for a record 6th time. So quite the accomplishment for Brock Lesnar. Will definitely go down into history books as one of the greatest of all time. But Bill, what's your take on this? Matching with Hulk, matching with Stone Cold, 2 guys that you know well in the business. What does this do for Brock Lesnar?
Well, let me tell you something, brother. As far as all the maniacs are concerned, no, of course, this will bring him into the history books, so to say, on that on their king size level, so to say. What I've been enjoying most, by the way, about Brock recently, beside just going in there and seeing him, I always called him the Mike Tyson of pro wrestling. It's that quick knockout.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, very good. Very good description.
Yeah, but what I like about him now is they used to not let him talk, and he's come out of that shell that they might have left him in, and he's become I love watching his interviews now. That thing he did last week with announcing himself, taking the mic away from Paul Heyman,
that was
fabulous. But no, in answer to your question, is that he deserves to be in their league. He really does, in my opinion.
Tied for 5th all time. I can't got to try to remember who would be ahead of him. Triple H and Randy Orton probably. Maybe The Rock. Chris, I don't know who else would be ahead of him, but
I do have an
rarefied air.
I
mean, the Rock, Brock has always been an attraction from the time he debuted in WWE. He's been treated as this rare, elusive thing, and he lives up to the billing. And he's only gotten more crafty with time. I think it's also worth noting that he understands how to be a personality on camera. Like very few people are able to do.
Look at Jose. Look at Jose coming through there.
There it is.
He's tied for number 5.
Bill, you gotta move to your left so you can be on camera. Other way. There
for the
you
podcast
go.
Listeners, we have a giant graphic appearance.
I named everybody except for Cena. How could I forgot Cena? Jeez.
Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, first ballot Hall of Famer.
Brock against The Rock.
We do. We got to do it again. I'd love to see that match. You were supposed to do it a handful of years ago. Let's move on to our final story. This one a little bit more dramatic. This one really flipped the internet, got a lot of people angry online about a week or 2 ago, right before New Year's Eve time here. And that involves statements by Tony Khan on social media. Then you had a lot of people coming online and defending him, a lot of people making it a conversation about racial equity, not so much diversity, which AEW has, but are they giving equal time and equal stature to diverse talents? Big Swole making these comments, not really decrying the company, but simply saying that when she decided not to re-sign with the company, they essentially decided not to keep her, that was an issue with her, that she felt that bothered her. Now, she wasn't super critical or derided the company in any way. She said there were some structure issues, things they could improve. That's fine. Exit interview type stuff, right? Well, Tony Khan wouldn't have that, as he simply said, these are all the people that are diverse in our company. Here's all the people that won titles, and here's me and this executive that are of a very diverse ethnic background. And also, by the way, we didn't re-sign her because she wasn't a good wrestler. And Rampage at 8. The internet loses its mind, Bill. Now Big Swole's responding. I want to get your take on this. Jose, what is the kind of Reader's Digest of Big Swole's responses controversy now a few weeks later?
So Swole was on her own Swole World's podcast, and she was talking about that to answer everybody's question. No, there's been no apology. Pretty much talking about Tony Khan reaching out to her. There's been no contact or anything, and I don't think there will be, because I feel maybe he feels like he had said nothing wrong at all. So she feels that he probably didn't. So she feels that he feels that he didn't say anything wrong. So he's not going to say anything to her. So pretty much nothing happened out of that. Then moving on into there, she continues. She says the top 2 AEW execs are brown, and talking about the whole situation there. And then she goes into, I couldn't believe it. It went from that to disappointed. I guess overall, I'm very disappointed. A person that with that pedigree should know how to respond in a way that doesn't come off in the most negative way possible. Just to have that, what truth do you have? What grace? End quote. So she I guess she expected more from Tony. She expected more from Tony Khan, and
her man's in WWE.
Her husband is Cedric Alexander in WWE.
Well, she's been in WWE. She was in the Mae Young Classic. She did very well in the Mae Young Classic. But that would be awesome.
Yeah, well, it also would be great PR for WWE.
Yeah.
Fantastic, and it would certainly get the internet talking, get people talking. A lot of people in the comments saying Slow wasn't good enough, or she wasn't that great of a wrestler, in my opinion. However, big changes do for her. Well, here's the thing, Jeff. I think she is a good wrestler. Okay, so that's just my take. But more importantly, I don't think the point of the comments that upset a lot of people about the way Tony handled this wasn't whether or not she's a good wrestler. It's that he took this time to respond to her, say all these things, defend his company on this social issue, right? Yeah. I can understand that. But you didn't respond to the actual things that she said, and then you made time to disparage someone who left your company on good terms and who's not employed anymore. And this is the antithesis of the entire AEW character that they put on, that we're the wrestling company for the wrestling fan. We're not going to be like those people up north, but this person isn't good enough to be here. Like, that's petty. And I think a lot of people take it that way. And there's been a lot of people who've come to the defense of All Elite Wrestling and have towed the company line. But I still think the part that I can't speak on the racial diversity issue. I'm not the person to talk on that. The part that alarmed me is like, that is just not characteristic of this guy who's led this company and spent this money on it a certain way. Bill, when you saw that, what was your response to it? Was it alarming to you, or was it you've seen promoters say worse things about talent?
Just repeat that, because as I said, my connection's bad and you dropped out.
Bill, when you saw those comments by Tony Khan about Big Swole online, obviously we can't talk about the racial issues. I don't think it's our place to talk about it. But in terms of promoters dealing with talent that they don't handle anymore or promote, right? A wrestling producer, how do you feel about the way Tony Khan handled this situation?
It's very hard to comment on because there is something racial in the whole situation there. So it's hard to separate it, and it's a very uncomfortable position to be in.
It's uncomfortable for me to bring up.
To me, they should have kept that. To me, they should have kept that out of the public view. But I think Big Swole started it first, so to say, with that, and Tony Khan was not going to answer. So I hate to use a cliche, but it is what it is. But I don't pay a lot of attention to those kind of things, because I'm still one of these people that are watching wrestling to watch wrestling and not get involved in that type of controversy.
Understood.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. But people are going to want to know what you think. So that's why I'm asking, Bill. That's why I'm asking. It's certainly an interesting situation. And isn't it fair for Big Swole to be upset about this, Jeremy?
Yeah, I would say so. It's kind of interesting though, like of the rest of the African American wrestlers on that roster, it seems like some are upset with Tony and some are defending him. I find it very interesting that how split the African American roster is on this subject. But we were live when this happened. Kev and I were on New Year's Eve, and yeah, that tweet was ridiculous by Tony. Should not have come out at all. But it's already been done, so
For me, the ridiculous thing at this point is that everyone's like, "Well, all these people are defending him, so it's okay." And I don't think it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I can't speak on the issues of race. I'm not going to. To me, it was a promoter went out of his way to diminish and negate a talent that doesn't work for him anymore.
Yeah, and Tony, anytime
but the thing
someone
also too here is
that affects her employment
easy.
With other companies going forward.
It's so easy to bring up that race card, and it makes everyone so uncomfortable. I mean, we're talking about it right now here. And by the way, turnbuckle pad, Bill, what do you say? You want to have a match here for this WWE Championship? He says it says that on print money.
Turnbuckle pad. Oh, you know what?
That's what they're saying.
Downstairs in Apter's Alley, I have the Cow Championship Office Wrestling title. You read about that in my book. I will put that on the line against anyone who is a formidable contender in any office in the United States, as long as there's airfare, a hotel,
and food, and
a stipend.
Speaking of that book,
just getting back what we were talking about the Big Swole Tony Khan thing. I know it's out there in the public, of course, and there are, this is going on through the entertainment industry as well. From what I understand, the Golden Globes this year are not being televised because of issues they had with racial diversity issues, where people were complaining about this. This is an issue that's not going to go away, but I think it needs to be discussed in a in-person, sit-down manner with the people that are involved in this. I think she and he need to meet somewhere and sit down and discuss this whole thing.
One of Tony Khan's biggest flaws is when someone attacks his company, he jumps on a response too quickly without thinking about it. And that's what he
publicly.
And that's what he did exactly right here.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking at that tweet as well, and this is coming a person of color. I'm Puerto Rican, brown. I'm looking at that tweet. I didn't see anything racially charged in that tweet. And what bothers me the most is that that's the first thing everyone on the internet, everyone in the internet wrestling community, Twitter, social media, goes to that first assumption that it was a race thing.
I think they brought that up because Swole was talking about race and Tony just kind of disqualified everything she said by saying what he said. He just completely blew off that subject. And I think that's where people were trying to.
Is he going to say
people were saying
you're right? Or is he going to defend himself? Most people, when they're put in a position like he was, are going, the natural reaction is to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's also within a tweet. There's no context there. It isn't like you get to hear him express himself. So that's the only thing. I just think the response to it in terms of let's get talent out there saying nice things about us, was the most corporate thing I've seen in a while from anyone in wrestling. And we've had a lot of weird corporate maneuvering in wrestling in the last year or two. Kevin and Jose G in the Rumble. I don't know if we could get, I'm not in Rumble shape. I don't know if I'm in Rumble shape here.
Bro, I got my tracksuit, working out, bro, eating healthy.
No, look more like you're in the Bumble shape.
We're in Bumble shape.
That means you could bounce off the mat easier when you get thrown over the top rope.
Well, as we wrap up here, Bill, I believe there's this book that people need to get about the wrestling business that you're aware of, and I ask a compelling question.
Well, let me ask you a question, brother. Is wrestling fixed?
I didn't know it was broken.
Was it broken?
I didn't know it was broken.
That sounds like a great name for a book.
It does.
Like it's available on Amazon.
Bill, is it this book? Is it this book that's right back over here?
That book right there?
It is. That's correct. That is.
This
you
one?
haven't have a copy of it.
Oh wow!
I keep
It's
losing you guys.
It's almost like I saw that look over Jose's shoulder.
You people, in terms of hearing you, you keep freezing. So if I've made no sense, ladies and gentlemen, during this show, that is exactly why.
Definitely go get the book. Well worth it.
And as you can see, you can follow me at Apter1, the number 1, Apter1 Wrestling on Twitter, and go to Sportskeeda profile, Bill Apter, and you'll see all the 6 stories that have gotten like 40,000 reads already of all 6 of, not of each story, combined stories, 40,000 reads. So I'm printing another one tonight probably. So that's where you can find me on Sportskeeda.
Jeremy Bennett, I know you're busy on the internet outside of Sportskeeda.
You can find me on Sportskeeda too. I'm going to be probably writing during Raw here with any stories that break as well. I've been doing that for quite a while. Once I saw how many posts I've made, it's baffling. I've written over 1,000 articles somehow. I don't know how I've done that. Right now, my podcast, Lost in the Midcard, is on a hiatus. We're still trying to figure out our return, so stay tuned there. Just follow me at JB Huskers. And while you're at it, just give us a subscribe on YouTube while you're at it. Just search for Lost in the Midcard, and we're going to be back soon. We're just kind of working it out right now.
Jose G, busy with the debrief Wednesday nights after All Elite Wrestling Dynamite, which I assume will be a compelling episode after last week's debut on TBS.
Yeah, that's right, man. So this week's debrief, I unfortunately won't be on the episode because I'm going to be down south interviewing some Impact Wrestling talent. So I'm going to be down South Florida. However, Rico and you, Kevin, will be on the show. You'll be on the show on Wednesday night. You guys are going to be covering everything that's going to be going down on NXT 2.0 and AEW Dynamite. Follow me on my Instagram and on Twitter at JoseG with the underscores in between. And my show, Weekends of Wrestling, still on hiatus. We come back Royal Rumble week. So be on the lookout for that. Give us a like, share, and a subscribe.
Tons of extra Royal Rumble content coming from us on our channels. Also, check out Wrestle Binge, our special top 5 channel on YouTube. We will have a special airing this weekend about wrestling trivia for the Royal Rumble. Should be pretty cool. We also have a tier special, and we'll be doing live stuff from St. Louis at the Rumble itself. So we have a whole bunch,
whole lot of stuff.
I'm going to be doing an exclusive interview with the Forbidden Door person. I will be down at the Rumble to find out who it is and hunt him down.
Yeah. Oh, you're hunting down. You're on the case. You're on the case.
And by the way, Jose, I was born in the South. You don't even know that, do you?
Oh, no, I did not know that.
I did not know that. Not the same South. The Boogie Down Bronx.
That's it.
Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. As always, we will be here every afternoon, late in the afternoon, around 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern with Top Story. Make sure those notifications are on and watch our past episodes. Listen to them on our podcast feed as well. And remember, when watching wrestling, do the most important thing. Bill Apter, when you go to these matches, what are you supposed to do?
I've totally lost your audio.
You got to enjoy it, guys. You have to enjoy wrestling.
Yeah.
You said when I go to these matches, and that was the last I heard. I can hear you now.
Okay, we're signing off. We're going to the catchphrase, Bill.
Oh, yes. I'll see you eventually at the matches after COVID.